Slingers, welcome to another Wordslinger podcast. I'm going to talk about something that's come up a couple of times for me, and I think you'll be interested. So stick around, find out what it is. See you on the other side.
It's the Wordslinger podcast, where story matters. Build your brand, write your book, redefine who you are. It's all about the story here. What's yours? Now, here's the guy who invented Pants Optional, Kevin Tomlinson, the Wordslinger.
Wordslinger.
Well, I am Kevin Tomlinson, the Wordslinger, and I appreciate you tuning in for another Wordslinger podcast episode. This has been an interesting week. I've been working on the new book. You may have figured it out by now. If you were listening to last week's episode, the Slingerversary episode with Christine Daigle and J.D. Barker and me. I am co-authoring a book with J.D. Barker. Handed him an outline, and that came after a sort of existential crisis on my part, but I finally got it done. Seems like it did pretty well, and I'm excited about the book. And there's some things that I'm tweaking after handing JD the first 4 chapters. He had some notes, all of which were great, and so I'm kind of working some things in. I got an idea about something, so I'm going to try to get that done and sent to him before I have to leave for NINC on Monday. I'm going to be at Novelist Inc. If you haven't heard of that, it's a conference in St. Pete's Beach, Florida, pretty close to Tampa. What I like about this particular conference is it's everyone who attends has hit a certain level of success as an author. And there's other people there as well, not just authors, but they've got vendors. I used to go to this as the director of marketing for Drafts Digital every year. I started going way back in 2016. Haven't missed a. I hate wearing black because I get lint and dog hair. Anyway, I've been attending as a vendor for the past 7 or 8 years. And this is the first time that I have been asked to attend as a keynote speaker for the thing as an author. So now I do some things for the author community that are helpful. One of these talks are going to be on some of the stuff that I help with, but one of them is branding for authors, which is something I've started doing kind of as a side hustle. And it's been really interesting because you don't really think about brand that much, I think. A lot of people don't. Branding has become it's a tool. It's a marketing tool, but it's also a way to sort of shape your message, shape your voice. And so it's coming real handy. It informs of just about everything in what I'm doing. My brand is my marketing at this point. So there's that, and I've started helping people with that. I need to set up a page. I haven't done it yet. It's on my list of things to do, but I'm starting to take clients for this. I got a couple of clients already out of NINC. I haven't even done the presentation yet, but they did an article. They interviewed me, and that ought to be going live soon. But I've had a couple of people, as I've kind of shared some things, decided that they wanted to try this out. And it's kind of like I do a little bit of an audit with you over what your existing brand is and what your target market is and what the sort of voice you're trying to accomplish. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But if you're interested in that, hop over to kevintomlinson.com, hit the contact button, and let me know. That'll also let me know if this is something people are interested enough in that I should put the effort into building resources for it. But anyway, there's that talk. I'm talking about the artisan age, which you've heard me talk about on this show before and elsewhere. That's kind of a shift in thinking for authors, for all creatives, and this concept that what we have to offer now as creatives is our perspective. So perspective becomes the commodity. our experience, and not just our experience, but the experience that we create for our readers or for viewers or for our audience in general. As creators, what we have to offer is our perspective and the experience that we craft. And so that's part of what I'm calling the artisan age. I also talk about AI in that a little because I use AI for certain aspects of my work. I use AI to help with creating elements so that I can design my covers. I don't really do direct out-of-camera AI. I've done it before for some of the covers, but they never quite turn out the way I want. And so what I've found is a better process for me is to take AI to generate elements that I just say, can I get from stock photo sites? I've tried, you know this if you've ever written science fiction and you've looked for a spaceship. You get to choose from a vast selection of three. There are like 3 different spaceships that people have designed that show up. And I could sit and probably do a design by hand. I do have that capability. In fact, the first version of my Citadel books, the first cover of the first book, I actually created the starship as I saw it. But it wasn't quite the level of quality I think it should be. It would take me a great deal of time to do that and really get it right using like 3D modeling software and things like that. And so I decided, you know what, I'd rather spend my time writing. So AI helps me with these elements. I can generate a spaceship and a star field and a planet and whatever it is I need. Or in terms of my archaeological thrillers, I can tell it what I want, get the bits and pieces, and then I take them into Photoshop and do what I call kit bashing, and sort of put the whole thing together. I've talked about this before, so I really shouldn't go into too many details. You can listen to or go back and check out some previous episodes to get more detail. And maybe I should do a whole talk and presentation on that stuff too at some point. Let me know if there's topics like this that you're interested in. I'm getting invited to do presentations and talks at conferences, and so this is good. These are good proving grounds for this stuff. So what I'll probably do is after NINC, I'm going to take these presentations and turn them into content and share those. So let me know if you're interested in that stuff. So there's branding, there's the artisan age. I'm doing a panel on AI and publishing, and you've probably, if you've followed me at all online, you know some of my positions on AI. I am not opposed to using AI to help with the publishing process, but I'm a bit opposed to using AI to just craft a book, to write the book for you. It's in terms of fiction, I'm very much opposed to it. Not because I think it's stealing my job or going to dilute the market or any of those things. And I am absolutely not on board with the philosophy that AI is somehow stealing from the writers and artists. It's just not by any definition of IP law and copyright or any of those things is that happening. Sorry, you can argue with me if you like. Feel free, argue with me in the comments. But using AI to generate writing or an image or video is in no way stealing. It's in no way, exploiting the writers and authors that this machine learning or whatever has used to train these AI. It's just not. Fight me. But and there's some legitimate arguments. I get it. I've heard some. I don't agree with any of them so far. No one has said anything that persuades me away from my take on this. And I'm trying to be open-minded about it, listen, and really hear what you're saying. But when people talk about it, it's almost always from a place of emotion rather than fact. And I'm guilty of this, believe me. I'm a very emotional person. And so my arguments tend to start there. But if you're going to persuade anybody, especially me, you're going to have to show me a logical argument that doesn't rely on just, the the way this makes you feel, because there's a lot of fear involved in this that I don't think has any place here. I think I posted about this morning on Facebook. We should be a lot less worried about AI taking our jobs or somehow stealing from us by imitating our work or whatever. We should be far less worried about that and far more worried by the fact that nearly every business, every industry now uses algorithms as a sort of collective price fixing tool. Go and do a search on YouTube. I'm never going to remember the names of these things. There's one piece of software out there. There's a couple of things that are under fire from the FTC right now. One of them is about rent. And what's happening is these people, the companies that own apartment buildings and control like rental properties, they're using a piece of software that collectively, these guys are not communicating with each other, but they're collectively using this same piece of software that uses an algorithm to determine the optimal price for a piece of property. And the same thing is happening with hotels. So you go to a hotel, and it used to be you'd go to a hotel, and like, let's say you went to Vegas. You're in Vegas, you get a hotel, you would tend to be able to find a hotel that was a little better priced for approximately the same sort of room because there was this competition for pricing, But what happens is the algorithm is telling all these hotels what the bottom line price can be and what the range can be. And without colluding together at all, they are colluding by proxy. And the algorithm is effectively setting the base rate for a hotel room much higher. And what's happening is, and it's interesting, but there's lower occupancy for these hotels now. This isn't just Vegas, this is worldwide. Fewer people are actually getting hotel rooms, but they don't need as many people to get hotel rooms because they can set the prices much higher. And because everybody is using the same algorithm, the algorithm says across the board, the average price for a hotel room now is, $500 a night for rooms like this, and $1,000 a night for rooms like that, and $12,000 a night for rooms like that. And so all those hotels now benefit, quote unquote, from this at your expense, at my expense. So as consumers, we're seeing this sort of demand-based pricing happen. It's not just hotels. It's not just rental properties. You're seeing this even in the grocery stores. If you think about rideshare apps, it's the same sort of thing. Like, the Uber, for example, will change the price for a ride based on heavy demand and availability of drivers, things like that. So the price goes up, right? You start to see the same sort of thing happen in grocery stores. Whenever you see a digital price tag on a grocery store aisle, that store is participating in I'm just going to call it a price fixing scheme. But basically they know that, they're all using software that says, it's cooler right now. The weather's getting colder. So we're going to probably see a run on cold weather foods like stew and chili and things like that. So we're going to raise the price of all those things, including ingredients to make this stuff. And then that way it's like surge pricing. They know that, a hurricane's coming. This is another great example. A hurricane's coming. It's going to hit the southern coast of Texas. And, so bottles of water and, canned goods, and bread and toilet paper, we can raise the prices on those. So that's what's happening. So what I'm saying here is worry a lot less about AI stealing your work or stealing your job, and worry a lot more about the fact that we've been feeding an engine for years now via social media, all that data that they were collecting that we just very innocently handed over in exchange for being able to share cat memes. is now, this is not conspiracy. This is a proven fact. That's why I'm saying go Google it, go on YouTube and look for this. But there's companies that have established themselves as a service to retailers, hotel chains, the housing market, medical. This impacts what you pay for literally everything. So your groceries are going up, bad economy, inflation, true. But it's just as much a problem with these algorithms saying, this is what the baseline price needs to be. And this is what the cost of insulin should be. And this is what it should cost for a hospital bed per night. And this is what it should cost to go and rent this hotel room to take your family on vacation. And this is what airline fees should cost. All this stuff. This is what's happening. So call me a conspiracy theorist if you wish. I will own that, but I can prove that this is what's happening. It takes 20 seconds to Google this. So go check it out. So the thing that's interesting to me, so sort of something that's been coming up a lot lately in terms of writing. This is the real meat of what I wanted to talk about. And I guess I've probably gone a little bit down a rabbit trail with the AI and all those things. Well, all those things, all the presentations are an important part of what's been going on in my life and what's going to be happening soon for me. What was the third one? Artisan, branding, and there's a third presentation, journaling. I'm doing a presentation called 3 Things. If you've read my Substack for a while, I actually wrote about this a while back. I journal every day. I have a process that helps me break through any kind of writer's block for journaling. And journaling has been very beneficial and helpful to me, mental health wise, but also in terms of creating content. And this ties in finally with what I really wanted to talk about, which was this came up in the Writers Inc. podcast, but it's sort of a question of like productivity. So almost all of us on the Writers Inc. Podcast have sort of a guideline for what we're going to produce each day. Maybe it's a certain word count or a certain amount of time in the chair. We all sort of agree, most writers agree, that if you are going to be a professional and be successful as a writer, then writing every day is a necessity. And many of us, JD and myself included, we actually will feel a certain level of guilt when we are not writing every day. When we miss a day, we feel it. When we go on vacation, we get the itch behind your eyes. I do. I definitely do. And so, I've made it a habit for years now, decades, to write every day, even when on vacation. I will get up a little before my wife does, sometimes a lot before my wife does. So I have some time in the morning to do my full routine. For a while, I was in kind of a lock, not a block. I was writing every day. I still wrote every day, never missed a day. Have never missed a day in decades now. But for a while there, I wasn't able to write fiction quite as easily as I could before. I'd write maybe a couple hundred words, few hundred words, and I'd get anxiety to the point of wanting to just die. And that went on for a good year or so, maybe a little longer. This past year was a rough year for me as a writer. Now, I tend to blame myself and have that, what we called it, writer's guilt. It's dumb because I've realized that I produced quite a few books, enough, at least like 4 books or so over that time. And so it's not real. That notion that I'm not writing is not real. But to get to there and to kind of get my mental health back, one of the things I did was journal. And from the journaling, I would have I would create stuff that I could use as content using my method I call 3 things. And the short version of that is, the short and quick version of it is that, I write 3 pieces of wisdom every day. It could be a quote from someone. It could be something that has occurred to me. More often, that's what it is. Some little piece of wisdom that I can include, usually real short, 3 pieces at the top of the page of my Moleskine journal. This journal actually, and I'm on a new one right now. I don't want to show you any text, but I like the gridded ones. They are, I don't know, I can get more on a page for some reason with the gridded ones rather than the lines. I don't know why. Anyway, that's the mechanics of it, but the logistics of it, I'll do, each day starts with the date, the time, I like to write down what the temperature is for where I am at that time, and I write down my location. So right now I live in the Austin area. I live in a town called Liberty Hill, so I'll write Liberty Hill, Texas, and then I write my 3 pieces of wisdom. Then I'll write 3 things that I'm grateful for. And then I'll just fill the rest of the page with sort of a stream of consciousness thing. And a lot of interesting ideas can come out of that. But then I have a digital version of the journal called, I use an app called Day One. And I got several journals in this thing. One of them's an affirmation thing where I write down like my sort of affirmations and goals and intentions, and I write a prayer at the end of that. And I have one that is called 3 Things, and that one has I'll type up those 3 pieces of wisdom, the 3 gratitudes, and then I'll do 3 blessings, 3 intentions, the whole list of items of 3. And so that kind of, for one thing that comes from that mental health wise, like focusing on something you're grateful for is always a good and positive way to go. Focusing on blessing 3 different people or 3 different events or whatever is a good way to go. It's very positive. But then finally, I will write a couple of times a week. I have a journal I call Substack on my Day One app, and that's where I'll write the article, the post that will go on Substack. And I try to do 2 a week. I aim to do 2 a week, and typically hit that. But that's content. And so what I end up doing a lot of times is I'll post like the 3 pieces of wisdom as social media content, which has been great, interesting. It has, I think, been very helpful to a lot of people. And then the Substack post, that's my newsletter to my readers. So I include, some elements like, I'll promote a book, or I'll tell people to go review a book or whatever. There's usually some call to action, but the way I handle that content is sort of essay style, personal essay style. Usually it's some event from my life. Sometimes I'll do something quirky. And in fact, I'm going to run a little ad spot right now. So stick around for this, but check out this ad for pumpkin spice novels. It's that time of year again. The air is cooling, as much as 10 whole degrees sometimes here in Texas, for almost one full day. Summer is slowly starting to wane. Leaves will soon start to turn colors somewhere, not Texas. And flannel shirts will soon begin to emerge from the bottom drawer, taking prominence atop cargo shorts and flip-flops. Again, Texas. It's my favorite time of the year. I was literally born for this. An October baby who loves sitting on the back porch with a cup of coffee and a good book. Good books are the best, am I right? That's why every year at approximately this time, I like to bring back what I call pumpkin spice novels. They're identical to my regular novels, but I dust each one with allspice and wave a cinnamon stick over it like it's some sort of Wiccan wand. Now you have the opportunity to curl up with your own PSN, relaxing as you enjoy the fall flavors of action, adventure, and archaeological thrills. Ah, pumpkin spice season is upon us. Bring it home to your heart and hearth with a fragrant and soul-warming novel by me, J. Kevin Tumlinson. Find your pumpkin spice novels at kevintumlinson.com/books. Bring on the autumn. Allspice limited to ebooks only, not available on all e-readers or e-reader apps. Listening to this line or agreeing to a free trial of the Disney Plus app means you agree you can't sue me like ever. So, thanks for sticking around for that. So the gist here is that ad was a post that I sent out this morning to my readers. And I wrote it that way. And then as I was reading back over it, because it was supposed to be kind of a gag, I've had some images I made for the post. And then I thought, this would make a great ad spot. So I went ahead and, recorded myself reading that, edited a video together. It took about an hour to do the whole thing. And then I started posting it around. So that's a fun little thing. But that content, I'm already seeing people are going and buying books because of that ad. So that's the point of that, right? I'm getting a lot of people commenting on it, sending me emails, sending me text messages and comments on social media. So people had fun with it. And so that idea came entirely out of this practice of daily writing in these journals. But the point I want to make is... one of my colleagues at the Writers Inc. podcast, Jenna Brown, actually said something that struck me. So Jenna, if you are listening, kudos to you on this one. But she said that she learned to set small goals, and if you hit it, that's a win. So she said it very small, as she's going to sit down, she's going to open the word processor document so that she can work on her book. The act of opening that word processor file is the win for the day. So if she doesn't write anything, she still got that little check mark. She got that victory. I think that's a good idea. I think you should be writing every day. But I think that you should give yourself a little slack, because writing is a challenging thing sometimes. And, we feel that writer's guilt. I'll feel it when I'm in the middle of writing. I'm working on the thing I know I'm supposed to be working on, but I'm thinking about, the 4 or 5 other things I also want to be working on or should be working on. And so I'm feeling guilty the whole time I'm writing for not writing enough, I guess. So that's crazy. So something I got to work on. But you need to become comfortable with the idea that sometimes the small victory, the smallest of the victories, is the only one you're going to get that day. So treasure all of those, and don't come down on yourself so hard when you're not quite hitting all the notes. So, but I recommend writing every day in one form or another, and journaling is a great way to do that. And you can make journaling productive writing. So journaling tends to be more about marketing related writing for me, the stuff that's going to help promote me as a writer and promote my books, rather than content for the books. But I've journaled story ideas in the past. I've written short stories or starters for short stories or novels in those journals. Somewhere around me somewhere is an old Moleskine notebook that I wrote a short story in that actually won me my first prize and money for a short story way back, 100 years ago now. And frankly, I've used these tools. I have written books. I wrote a book on Substack once. I may do that again. These tools are helpful for progressing you as a writer and creator. So if you are a writer, or if you create video content, YouTube or whatever, if you are an artist, painting or doing digital artwork, or you're drawing with graphite or whatever. The key is spend your energy making sure that you're having some small victory each day. And then that starts the momentum. And then once you've got the momentum, you can carry on into the other things. I'm back now. I mean, it was a tough run for a little while there, but I'm back and writing every day again the way I was used to. I still do daily journals. I still do a couple times a week. I'll write my Substack posts. Thursdays tend to be what I call production days. So I do this show. I do the Writers Inc. podcast. Today is when I did the that commercial that you saw, pumpkin spice novels, and I'm thinking about adding something like that to each Thursday, so it's kind of fun, but it's also something promotional. It's something I can do that can help bring readers to the work. It's on brand for me. So anyway, that's the thing. That's what I wanted to talk about. Set small goals so that you can reach bigger goals. It's a snowball effect. If you can get yourself to just sit down to write something every day, even if it's just, handwriting in a journal, at least that gets the writing muscle, warmed up. That's what I use it for. And then maybe add to that Jenna's trick of, I'm going to open that Word document. I'm going to open that Scrivener file. I'm going to open that Google Doc, and that's the win. That's the accomplishment. And then everything I do above and beyond that is victory. I mean, that's you rubbing, the universe's nose in it. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to go and wrap up, but I hope you dug that. Let me know what you thought of this episode and some of the ideas here, but also let me know what you thought of that ad spot, because I had a lot of fun making that, and let me know if you like that kind of thing. I was thinking about doing more of that sort of thing. I might even open up doing that for others in exchange for money. So if you are interested in having somebody create an ad spot for you in your books, maybe we should talk, or anything, whatever you got. It doesn't have to be books. I might have some rules and caveats, but let me think. I've already been thinking about this. So hit me up. Let me know what you think, and reach out if that's something you're interested in. And beyond that, thank you for tuning in to the Wordslinger podcast. I hope that you will like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below, because that tells the YouTube algorithm that is running all our lives that you are engaged with this content and it's something you want to see more of, and it will recommend this to other viewers on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to me on YouTube, if you're listening to this on one of the podcast apps, I love you. I'm grateful for you. I welcome you. If you would do me the favor of popping on over to youtube.com/Wordslinger podcast and hitting that subscribe button. I'm trying to build a subscriber base for this YouTube channel. Even if you don't watch on YouTube, it's okay. But hit that button and subscribe and share it with other people that you think might get something out of this show. So that's going to be it for this week's Wordslinger podcast. Thanks for tuning in. And good luck with whatever it is you're trying to accomplish out there. It can be a little rough, but you're going to make it. And I'm right here for you. So see you next time.
Wordslinger.